Did you see this next gentleman on an Islander telecast this year? Let's go down to the studio with his guest. Here's Ed Westfall.
Thank you, Jags. My guest between periods, the general manager, the New York Islanders, Bill Torrey. And Bill, approaching the new year, anything happening? Should we ask that maybe there's something that we don't know that you could tell us?
Well, Eddie, you know so much. I don't think there's anything I could tell you. But no, I'm just hopeful that some of the signs we've seen in the team the last week or 10 days are signs for things to be a little better in the new year than they have been as we close out the old year. Obviously, we're disappointed the way we've performed, and I think the team really, that's a genuine feeling. And but by the same token, I think it's an upbeat feeling now in the room, and there are a lot of good positive signs. As to other things, well, other things are always possible in this business.
I have to tease you a little bit. Let's go back, Bill, if we can, just back to the beginning. What kind of signs or what kind of vibrations does the general manager of the team get when he thinks that things aren't going quite as well as you'd like to see them? How soon do you know that, or when did you realize it for this particular, we'll say, doldrum that the team has been in?
Being very candid, Eddie, if you know, Al, who is my public spokesman, you know, he said very early on in the year that things were not the way we liked them to be, and they weren't. We were winning games, but we were not playing well, and we got away with it. And I think when you couple that with the, you know, the euphoria of 3 Stanley Cups and all of the other things that go with it, you begin to tend to think that things are going to happen automatically, and they don't happen automatically in this game. You've got to make them happen, and we've got away from that. And when it seeps down through almost your entire roster, it's not something that's going to snap back quickly. But by the same token, maybe it's a lesson that we had to learn, and we brought on ourselves, and it's one that we've got to correct ourselves.
Is it true then that you said that you're going to let the team work its way out to a point where you feel that they should have worked it out?
Well, I did have a little meeting with them at one point, and I said basically that to them that, look, they created their own mess, and I felt enough confidence in them that they've shown in the past that they can accomplish certain things, and I thought that their maturity was such that they should be able to pull themselves out. Obviously, if it doesn't turn out that way, well, then we have to look to other things. But those things are always the first thing that the media and the fans naturally turn to, and I understand why. But by the same token, you don't just exactly throw away a 3-time champion either.
Wasn't that fairly obvious at training camp when you didn't make any different, you didn't change any players at training camp when you could have?
Well, I did that for 2 reasons. First of all, I felt this team did deserve a chance. But second of all, our farm system is very important to us. We have a big investment in it. We've got a number of good prospects, and I would prefer to bring them in when circumstances are a little better than when they're in the situation that they're in right now. And all the time, of course, we're giving our players time to develop. Our team in Indianapolis is in first place and having an outstanding season there. We've got a couple of boys in junior that are having good years. So there are a lot of other alternatives that we can turn to if it's necessary.
That was my next question, Bill, is does a general manager go to his own system, or does he kind of develop options outside of the system when he knows that he may be forced to do something?
Well, I think you have to evaluate. That's where the evaluation comes in. As you know, Jerry Eman is here tonight. We had a meeting today relative to our amateur draft picks, and we've got 2, Pat Flatley and Paul Boutillier are playing over with the Canadian national junior team, and we've got some deadlines facing us very soon, and we are going to have to make some decisions, for example, on a player like Paul Boutillier. We have a January 3rd deadline as to whether we recall him or not. So all of these things you are weighing. This is a very busy time. It may be holidays for a lot of people, but it's not much of a holiday for those of us that have the job.
We usually look at Bill Torrey and having the kind of nice options. They're tough decisions that you have to make when you have to make them. And what's some of the toughest ones, for instance, that you have now? You mentioned the January 3rd with Paul Boutillier. Just what is it that you're faced with, the options that you have with him?
Well, if we don't recall him by the 3rd, then he is not available to us for the balance of the season unless we get into a state of emergency where we have less than 6 defensemen healthy. So that's a decision we have to make. Is he ready, and is it time for him to come? And obviously then that creates the problem. You've got 8 defensemen, assuming everybody's healthy. Dennis still has the flu and won't play tonight, but these are these are the deadlines that you can't do anything but face.
Keeps general managers awake at night?
Short nights.
Well, we're used to seeing things work out, and good luck to you again, Bill.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Bill Torrey. Now we'll go back to you, Jakes.
All right, Ed, tonight's guest will receive the original members-only strap collar racing jacket. It's today's most exciting, most wanted jacket. Members only. When you put it on, something happens at fine stores everywhere. After 2 periods, Buffalo Sabres leading the New York Islanders by a score of 2-1. We'll return for third period action, but first we pause for these messages.